Mike Woodson returns to Indiana, where he brings in 6 newcomers, giving him the 13th best class in the country, including the 85th best freshman class and the 2nd best transfer class. I'll go over the film of all 6 and how they could fit into the Hoosiers next season, including the new backcourt. First up is Oumar Balo. He is a 7-foot, 260-pound fifth-year center transferring from Arizona. He averaged 12.9 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks in 26 minutes a game for Arizona. He is an elite rebounder. He might just be the best returning rebounder in the entire country. He is very physical and he relies on that elite physicality. He's very good with it, understanding how to use his body to move defenders and just create positioning for himself. But if someone can kind of keep up, it does give him a little bit of issues. On offense, he can be a pretty good roller because of this. He has pretty good size, he has pretty good hands, so he's able to set solid screens, roll and create space, and then finish well at the rim. I think he's a very good, maybe not an elite, but a very good rim protector. For the most part, he does a great job of just kind of doing what he needs to do, help protect the rim, and just protect the paint in general. I think there's a tendency at times for him just to get out of position and drawn out a bit. He's a guy that you don't really want to send to the free throw line. He shot under 50% from the free throw line last year. On defense, he's going to be a drop defender. So like I said, he's going to be helping protect the rim, protect the paint, and he is pretty good in it. He's not really a shooter, not a facilitator, but what he can do offensively is create positioning down low, whether it be post-ups or creating space on rolls, get good looks at the rim, and then finish. And he's just shown he can be a go-to guy at various points. All right, so we'll look at a couple clips from Balo right here. This first one's going to show what he can do in the post. This is going to be him right there. So there's going to be a high ball screen for Arizona right here. Love's going to come off, and Balo's just going to kind of seal his guy. So you're going to see here, boom, creates that contact, creates that initial contact to help create the separation. And then Arizona's going to clear out this entire side. So now once Balo gets the ball down low, now he just has all of this room to work with. All these defenders have been preoccupied with movement. And so now he can just go one-on-one where he can just use his body, get to the rim. I would like to see Indiana run stuff like that for him. And then this play that we're going to look at shows how Balo can kind of just anchor the defense. So this is going to be him up at the top of the key defending. Ball's going to be swung into a pick and roll. And then as this ball comes off, Balo's going to be in his normal drop coverage, right? Where he's just trying to keep the roller and the ball handler in front as he kind of backpedals towards the rim. So Stanford's going to kick out from there. So good job from Balo, kind of not allowing anything from that pick and roll. And then this is the secondary part is, okay, now Balo's kind of stationed near the rim where he's most comfortable, and he can be a guy that comes over, rotates, helps protect the rim in that type of play as well. If you're enjoying, please like and subscribe and comment who you think will be the best out of this group. Next up is Goode, a 6'7", 210-pound senior forward transferring from Illinois. For Illinois, he averaged 5.7 points, 3.6 rebounds in 20 minutes a game and shot 38.9% from 3 on just over 4 attempts per game. He was 65th in the entire country on open catch and shoot threes, where he shot over 50%. He is a shooter, and we can just keep saying that he is a shooter, and he is something that IU desperately needs. He is the best, one of the best shooters in the conference, and so now he's going to give Indiana a guy that can come off the bench or maybe in a starter role, but most likely off the bench and just come in and help space the floor when needed. He can close games if needed, even if he isn't starting. He is going to shoot. He took 157 threes last season and only 22 twos for the entire season. Now, he's very, very good open. Like I said, 56% on open catch and shoot threes. That percentage dropped a ton when he was contested, so you're hoping to find a balance probably a little bit realistically. I think he has movement shooting upside, but he is pretty stiff, and so it isn't like his natural kind of go-to. Defensively, he has to rely on physicality. He doesn't move that great overall. If he can be physical, he can pass, but otherwise he is kind of a liability at times. But I'm going to once again repeat that he is a shooter, and he's going to provide much needed spacings for Indiana. Okay, we're going to look at some of the shooting that Goode can provide. Now, like I said, he is more of a standstill, just catch and shoot 3 type guy, but I'm going to show a couple clips where I think there is movement upside. So in this play right here, this is going to be Goode. And basically, as the ball's in the post here, you're going to see Goode come off of this flare. And so Illinois just does a good job with spacing. I mean, you can see how well spaced they are in general. And so now with this flare screen right here, Goode's going to have a good look because the defender's in drop coverage. Gets a good look from 3 and able to knock it down. Another area I think it could be fun for Indiana to use him is as a ghost screener. And so what that means is As Goode's going to set this screen right here, he's not actually going to make any contact with the defender. Instead, he's going to ghost out, and then that kind of can put pressure on the defense, cause some confusion like it does here, whether it's supposed to be a switch or not. And so now as Goode pops out, again, another good look. Jones does a good job of kind of recovering, and this is where I think Goode has just a little bit of that sidestep to him where he can shoot off the dribble, but usually it's going to be this, where it's catch, and then it's going to be one dribble to the side, reload, get a good look, and then knock it down. Bryson Tucker is a 6'6", 180-pound forward that is coming from Bishop O'Connell, where he just finished high school. He averaged 17.7 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per game. He is a crazy tough shot maker. The lone incoming freshman for the Hoosiers is somebody that loves getting into the mid-range. 6'6" with a pretty good wingspan. I think is listed at 6'9" somewhere. He has a very, very high release on pull-up too, so he can just kind of get to his shot, rise up, and pretty much rise over everybody. He also has a pretty good handle with that does allow him to play at his own pace. There's good athleticism, although I don't know if he has an insanely explosive first step, but the athleticism, playing at his own pace, he can kind of just get to the shot that he wants. He has pretty good upside defensively, but for me, it's just going to be one of those things that I need to see it before I fully believe it. Last year, he worked a ton in ISOs. Now, that isn't a bad thing, but can a lot of those pull-up looks, can they come in pick and roll or attacking closeouts, and can that just translate? Three-point shot is okay. I think he shot pretty well on catch and shoot stuff, but probably needs to be standstill for now to have any sort of impact. With a long wingspan, like I said, and a good handle, just tough shot making to go along with that is pretty rare to find. So on this play, we're going to show off that ISO ability, that pull up ability that Tucker does have. This is going to be him right here with the ball in his hand. So you're going to see sizing up a defender, and it is just going to be fully one-on-one. That good handle right there is kind of that crossover. Doesn't really always create initially separation from the defender, and that's something that maybe will need to be worked on. But from there, he's just going to size him up again, and that little bump that happens right before the shot goes, that's what kind of creates what all he needs. That little bump right there, just getting into the defender, and now he can rise up. And you can see he just rises up so much higher than the defender that he's able to get a good look. Another example of it going to be right here. So he's going to have the ball up here on this left wing. Again, ISO. This one's less of a crossover dribble or creating separation that way. More just, I'm going to get to my shot because I know I can rise up. Now at the Big Ten level, right, this is going to be a little bit tougher. There are going to be 6'6", 6'8" dudes potentially on him. But either way, right here, one dribble. I mean, you can see the second defender comes a little late, and just look at how high he is on this release. Now, his form is way different from threes, but for mid-range twos right there, he just is going to be able to get looks whenever he wants. Langdon Hatton is a 6'10", 240-pound senior center transferring from Bellarmine. He averaged 10.5 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 1.3 assists in 27.8 minutes per game. Hatton is a big that wants to get in the post, where when he does get down low in the post, he goes to up and unders a lot. He relies on footwork and touch to try to help get to the rim because he does struggle with touch on hooks, and so when he can get all the way to the rim, that's when he finds success. I think a big reason he goes to kind of up and unders in that a lot is he struggles a bit to play through contact and a ton of physicality. Now, an interesting thing with him is he has the capability to drive into open space if given it. He isn't necessarily going to take his big off the dribble, but since he's not that much of a shooter, if given space, he can kind of drive into it and then work from there. Defensively, he's the guy you probably just want him in drop coverage, try to help protect the rim that way. He isn't a great mover, but does fine protecting the rim. Now, he can knock down a three. He was 33% last season, but I think a defense is going to live with him taking as many threes as he wants. This play right here is going to show that kind of up and under that he gets to. This is going to be Hatton with the ball out here kind of in the left wing, left corner. Notice the space that the defender's given him. And so as I play, I mean, it isn't like instinct for Hatton to dribble into it, but now he's like, okay, I'm just going to go get to my spot. And so now, I mean, he's starting his real move down here inside the paint, 10 feet away, and that's a good thing in general. And this is where good pump fake right there gets to the defender to bite, and now he can get all the way to the rim. So on this play right here, we're going to look at the defensive side of the ball for Hatton. This is going to be him right here at the top of the key. The offense goes into an empty-sided pick and roll, meaning that Hatton's not going to have any help from over here. And so as it happens, he's going to be in his drop coverage, dropping back towards the rim, keeping the ball handler and the roller in front. Now, he isn't like a crazy athletic rim protector or anything like that, but he has pretty good instincts. He understands where he needs to be. And so this time he does a good job of being able to kind of play both and then contest the shot late, forcing the miss, and then also grabbing the board. Myles Rice is a 6'3" redshirt sophomore point guard transferring from Washington State. Last year was his first action in a couple years after redshirting his freshman year, then being out the following year due to Hodgkin's lymphoma. He averaged 14.8 points, 3.1 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game in 33 minutes for Washington State. He is a very, very athletic point guard that thrives on getting downhill. He has really good kind of touch in the paint, and there's just a comfort in the way that he's able to move and able to glide into the paint. Very good finisher at the rim, good athleticism, good length to be able to actually get there. Now, if he can't get to the rim right away, he wants to just kind of probe, and we'll talk about that in the film in a second, but kind of probe, keep the defender on his hip, and this is where a lot of his assists come from. The jumper needs work. He didn't shoot it well. Hopefully a little bit of an easier shot diet could help with this a bit, but only 27% from 3, although was fine in the mid-range. I really like his upside defensively. He moves very, very well, good athleticism, but also has very quick hands. If he can develop a jumper, then he goes from a good player to probably one of the best point guards in the conference. So on this play right here, we're going to look at Rice being able to get downhill and then get to the rim. So this is going to be him with the ball right here, kind of in transition. He's going to size up his defender and then blow by. And so once he's here, this is where he'll kind of try to keep the defender on his hip a little bit. And you'll see he slows down. I think he has really good just kind of control of the pacing and able to go up. We'll watch it here in full speed, but able to get downhill and then kind of pause, get the shot up that he needs, create the separation, and just a really good driver and finisher at the rim. So this play right here is going to show really his facilitating upside and what he went to a lot. I mean, he averaged almost 4 assists per game last season. And so this is going to be him with the ball right here. It's going to be an empty-sided pick and roll, nobody in this corner. And so as he comes off, now it's going to be a little bit more of an ISO. Gets by the defender, and this is where he just kind of is going to wait. So you can see right here as we back it up, he's just going to kind of chill in the paint. He's going to make sure his defender's engaged and then see what happens. And this time it's going to be a back cut. Really good pass right there from Rice on the back cut, getting to the rim. Kanaan Carlyle is a 6'3", 185-pound sophomore combo guard transferring from Stanford. He averaged 11.5 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 2.7 assists per game in 25 minutes for Stanford. He's a dynamic combo guard that can really go and create his shot whenever, wherever. He showed really, really good touch in the mid-range. Now, the three-point shooting was just okay, and he was not a good finisher at the rim. The pull-up threes were often short, and he seemed to jump a bit higher. His catch-and-shoot threes, though, they were very good percentage on pretty low volume, but he was 40% from 3 on catch-and-shoot looks. So getting him maybe a little bit better shot diet and getting more of those looks could be beneficial, especially with him playing alongside a true point guard like Myles Rice. I think he's a good facilitator, although he definitely had freshman mistakes, and I think if you're banking on him really blossoming into this true guard for Indiana, it's that he takes that sophomore leap. The turnover and decision making needs to be improved, and you definitely need to see better finishing at near the rim, but he's a guy that is going to just be able to come in day one, run pick and rolls, go and create a shot, and sometimes Indiana just needs a guy like that. So on this play, we're going to look at some of that tough shot making ability that he has. Ball's going to get swung to him here kind of in the right wing area. And so now this is where he's going to be able to attack. And I really like Carlyle off ball. If he's more of an off ball guard for Indiana, I think that's going to improve what the Hoosiers are a lot. Now he's just going to be able to get downhill, kind of get to his spot. And for what he isn't great at in shooting threes, he showed really good touch kind of in this floater and this pull up to range where he's able to get this one to go. I probably didn't talk about it enough, but Carlyle does have good facilitating to him. And this is going to look at that right here. It's going to be him at the top of the key. And so instead of either just immediately throwing the pass, which he probably could have, and then maybe they got something from there, or even forcing a three, he's going to fake the pass and then immediately get downhill. And so he's maintaining the advantage, keeping the defense in rotation. Now he's able to get 2 feet in the paint where 3 guys are loaded up, and now he can get a much better look for his shooter out on the wing. So just being able to maintain advantages like that is something I think that'll be big for Carlyle. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and click here to see the Illinois Newcomers preview.